I don't have to check. I thought it was.
Let's call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? We need to add new business, a discussion or approval for zoning ordinance change. Rezoning. It's my fault for not on the agenda. I thought we would have had it there. The ad, and apparently that didn't happen. So that falls on me. Discuss that. We talked about that at that time. A motion and a second, and any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It's carried. Next, in motion to approve the minutes from April 6th. Motion and a second. Do we have any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It's carried. Next is a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion and a second. Do we have any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. It's carried. Next up is supervisor report, and I would like to start off. Hopefully everybody knows it's one of those things, but Pat McMahon passed away recently, and I'd like to take a moment of silence in remembrance of Pat and think about Laura and just think about the stuff that they've done for the township the last few decades. The township will be working towards a way for some sort of memorial for that. Talk to a few people, and we'll get something together at some point in the near future. Just to note a couple things. Personnel committee will be meeting next Monday, and we'll go over a few issues that have been coming up, and one of them will be dealing with trying to figure out set a schedule for pay increases for all staff that are non-union. Come up with some kind of something we don't really have something solid in writing, and we got things like minimum wage is coming up. Just went up this year, and it's going up again next year. So we want to make sure we're we're ahead of the curve, and we're not dealing with pay compression issues. I think there'll be a couple of those that will be affected by that. We'll also be going over the personnel policy. Again, make sure we're up to date. We'll handbook. There's a few things there we need to look at, and bring it back to recommendations to the board after that. some planning and zoning things that I want to take care of real quick. The first one is I'm going to appoint Sierra McDonald as the board's representative to the planning and zoning committee. That'll be effective immediately, so we'll start the next meetings. Try to keep her up to date with all that stuff. So, took me a lot of arm twisting when I got her there. The other thing is I'm going to ask Arthur to talk about when he needs to work on our master plan. So he's going to come up with a proposal for the board to consider when we want to start this and take a look at it. So, Arthur, I'll have the floor.
I'm going to just give you a real brief background here. The current master plan was completed in 2009, and it's a monster. It's 353 pages long. In 2000, it was a very expensive master plan. When we went to update it in 2017, it was discouraged to do anything major because of the expense that had been outlaid in 2007 to 2009. So we just did some minor updates. At this point, it is definitely in need of updating. The current maps are creating conflicts in some of the questions that are coming in. Maps are not clear, but in order to update maps, it has to be done with the master plan. So I reached out to Jeff Hagan with regional planning, and right now he gave me a number of the base cost for reimbursement guidelines for master plan in 2026 is $21,600. They are backlogged right now. The soonest, this was communication in February, the soonest at that time that it could start would be December. It would take roughly 12 to 18 months to revamp that. So we're looking at a year and a half to 2 years out before we can have something completed at a cost right now of around $21,600.
So we have not budgeted for that for this year. Because it was still in discussion phase when we were still working on budgets and getting the numbers out here not too long ago. But I would like us to consider that. I think the sooner we can get on, so the better. Master plans is vital for the township. It helps us decide what direction we need to be going in, helps with our growth, bringing in business, recreational, things like that. So it's pretty extensive. We went kind of sort of over it a month ago or so and looked at it, and I was like flabbergasted because all this stuff, just a lot of things in there. It was recent. It was last done by UP Engineering, right? No.
It was UP
Engineering. So that was very, very expensive. And then after I asked Arthur to kind of look into it, it was agreed by even regional planning that maybe that was way too much stuff in there. So there's a lot of technical, a lot of just language that was just very hard to follow. And then, so I definitely think we need to do it. We're supposed to have a master plan. It's a requirement. We gotta get it updated. I think this is we need to get started on it pretty soon. So again, a year and a half down the road to be done with it. We gotta get started. So I'm not sure when they're gonna want it. What we're gonna have to do is set it up. And when they're gonna want money, when they're gonna want things, or we just set the appointment and get started from that point.
I can contact him directly and say, I guess I would need approval before we would,
Right.
before we could push and put us on the docket.
Is the firm that you contacted, their approach to the master plan is not like the one that we have? Well,
No.
Okay.
This is
So we would
regional planning, which we rely on for the whole area relies on for a lot of the planning. Currently, they're doing 3 other master plans, things like that. But they cited in my communications that it's far excessive. It's even much more excessive than the city of St. Mary's.
Just want to make sure we weren't getting into the same
No.
situation.
Well, I've done my own research before I even talked to Arthur. I mean, I was looking at $45,000-$50,000 to do a master plan. And it was like, that was kind of, I thought it was a little bit out there. So
It's way beyond our skill set.
yeah, we can't do it on our own. We'll definitely need help to do that. So I guess like someone else make a motion to move forward with this.
That's 21,000.
That's what he's probably calling for right now. I mean, the longer we wait, the higher it can go up. So. But that, again, I think we got to get their thing, let them come back with the quote specifically, because it's just a phone quote to him right now. So, do we want to move forward and ask him to take a look at it?
Well, I mean, we have to have them by law, and we're not going to give much of a choice.
We had to have it. The question was, who do you want to do it?
Right.
That's where a lot of lines in. So.
This is where I asked for 3 bids.
We can go there, man. Or if there's, he's done okay, he's doing a whole lot. You can go with that.
Maybe a bid for 200,000.
I guess I'll move. Is that, did you bring it up to a vote?
I did not. So I need a motion. To do what? And move what?
I'll make the motion that we go with the 21-6.
Full support.
Okay, so we want to look at the motions, we'll open up for discussion. Is it to start with, just start with that number, or just ask them to ask them if we want to go with them and let them give us a bid? What their actual price is going to be at the upfront. So that's, I guess that's a concern that I have. Do we want to be EUP engineer? Regional planning to do the start. Give us what they're going to do. Because they'll have to do a proposal, I'm sure, and then.
And this is, just to clarify, this is the base cost.
Right.
He did mention in the email, he said he could work up a scope, detailed scope and estimate. I have no idea what that's going to be like.
That's what I think.
I see what you're saying.
When the motion in that direction, ask them to provide a quote or a proposal.
Yes.
Should we get a quote from a second party? Like, is that something that's even to do, or?
I think we can. It's
Pretty much
just,
everybody just uses this company.
This area, yes. I think the other options would be through Michigan Township Association, but prices are going to go up.
it doesn't want to hurt to look and get at least another quote. You guys see what we're getting before that.
And this has, the regional one is based out of Chippewa County.
And you said our master plan is way more extensive than even the Sioux's?
Yes. It's significantly more extensive. I've not laid eyes on it, but Jeff Hayden from Regional Planning made a comment unsolicited that it was.
So the motion is to move forward with,
To get a quote.
to get a quote from them, and we'll maybe try to see if we can find a form through MTA and see what they have. There's a couple of them, I think, that's out there. We've tried to stay local with that.
Do you need 3 quotes?
Or if you want maybe just one more,
At least one more.
but we'll get one more.
But the engineering.
Yeah. And what they were, that's fine. So the motion is to move forward to get quotes or proposals for our master plan. Provide these 2 quotes. Is that what you want to, those one?
Yes.
Second agree?
Yep.
You got that written up, right?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Carried. All right, so I think that's everything I have from, I'm gonna go with the fairground stuff. I'll see you back here anyway. I got an email from the president of the fair board. The fair board, or the executive board, was asked for 2 things. One is to basically get an accounting of what we spent at the fairgrounds on various things, not limited to the campgrounds, the horse arena and the racetrack. They want to know our revenues and our expenses, things like that. We can ask them to request an FOA, we can provide some information for them. I'm talking to Mike, he is going to gather it up. And I mean, it's public information, and I can give them a copy of our budget for this past year, and at least they have that to see what we're doing there. They also want to meet with the board to get the feel for what you want as a board. So, we can do that. I would suggest we schedule that for the next board meeting, May 4th, so they can come in and have a chance to talk to us. We'll set aside time specifically for that. And you guys can ask your questions, and make your comments and concerns known to them. The email I got prior to that, a week before, the conversation I got, I think I mentioned to you guys, they were real pleased about me requesting money from them. They felt they contributed more than enough to the fair board so that they can have free use basically of the fairgrounds. So, my opinion is, and will stand, is that they need to come up with more money to use that property. If they can't do that, then maybe they should consider their location. That's my thoughts on it. If I'm gonna, a price, I'm trying to be nice to them and offer up to $15,000 or something. And they're squawking at that, so I think we'll look at what it would cost for us to rent that whole facility out to anybody else, and that's the price we charge. That's the direction I want to see. Just to give you a heads up, they'll be hopefully coming in next week. Bob?
Yeah.
I think you would say something. I want to say something. If you say something about how I propose it, that's fine. If you're gonna do that, I'm okay. If you're gonna wait till they get, let's go with that. All right, so that's all I have for supervisor report. Any public comment as it relates to the agenda? Good public. All right, unfinished business. Fire department, fire hall. If you haven't had a chance to go by there, they're moving along pretty well in construction. They have looked at the foundation walls are out. They've been a little bit of landscaping work right now. I'm not sure what else is going into there. I believe the power company will be making some changes, moving a pole, adding a pole, make things a little bit easier to go around. We were kind of had to be the middleman for getting it done because they would only accept payment from the end user, which is us. So we just asked Dave to provide us an invoice for that information, what it would cost, and just comes out of that building anyway. So we had to take care of it. So that was one of the other things that was going on.
So when did it?
I think it's for the convenience for the power, where they want to bring the power in. They're moving a pole around to the front end Griffin. There's no power going down the way. They're moving one pole or two down that way, so that when they bring the power in, it comes off of Griffin, not off the Cedar Road. My understanding. So they're moving one pole to add it. That was $11,000 just to do that little bit of work. But that comes out of that's Dave's that responsible for, so it comes out of the money that we actually pay him. So when it's not added on to our bill. Yep, $11,000. That's the same thing.
You can ask for 3 quotes. I should.
That comes on the contractor, isn't it? Unfortunately. So, don't have anything new with NIMSA. We haven't heard anything on the ambulance yet, but we're still waiting on that a little bit. We talked about that last time, so we addressed there. And then the AT&T lease, I believe they paid their bill. So we should be able to get that signed. I might have it done, it'll be done this week sometime. And I'll take care of AT&T. Nothing on Verizon yet. The 4-H building, I did have a discussion with the 4-H council president and the advisor that was there. And really I wanted to find what they felt their needs were for the building, how big they wanted it to be, things like that, which we've talked about before. And I think they've come up with kind of what they're going to look at. They're going to start looking to see if we can find somebody to work on that idea. There's a building in the Coast Guard housing up in Sioux. It's a clubhouse. It's actually pretty fancy, but the basic layout of the building, I think, might meet their needs. So it would be a nice little space. They can have smaller gatherings, 50, 60 people if they want, and a little bit of room for some classrooms, that kind of thing. Small kitchen, couple bathrooms, good layout. So I did a little bit of digging. I haven't done full, because I still got to make another contact. But the cost of that building, that's finished and it's fancy looking. It's really got some really things on it we just don't need. Paved parking lot and everything else was $750,000 in 2014. So we can skip the paving. That will probably take care of at least $200,000 pretty quick. So we'll worry about that part. And then the building itself can be brought down in scale and fanciness. They had windows everywhere and fancy things here and there. So we'll make it plain. But trying to get it down, I told them to look at something between $500,000 and $600,000. That was their goal. And then the rest of the money we can take and put into the account that would basically serve that property for the future. And they were agreeable with that. Just going to get to that point. The proposal that Jeannie and I prepared, sent to you guys. I got one email back and comments about what was going on, so we're going to take that, tidy it up a little bit, and we'll send it off to the 4-H for the MSU Extension Office and we'll work on it a little bit back and forth, and then we'll figure out what we're about lease from that point forward. So that'll hopefully be going out sometime this week-ish.
Hopefully in the background, you guys can start thinking of the fairgrounds long-term. What the overall, I mean, we've got the potential for this grandstands project, the grant money that you applied for.
I came in,
Okay,
so it's, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
well, I'm just thinking, you know, like we are, as I was doing up the proposal to send out to you guys, I'm thinking that our plea to the 4-H council is that we can't afford the expenses at the fairgrounds. That's why we need this money to go into an account to fund the lease premises. Okay, and if we're gonna say to the fair board that we need X amount of money to be able to rent the property to you to hold your fair because we're trying to reduce expenses, that's okay. But then what are we saying if we do a grandstands project, and even if there's grant money there, what's the planning and development for that look like? Because as soon as a new building goes up, increase insurance, increase maintenance, stuff like that. So I'm just kind of like I'm finding it difficult to think of all three things working together and how that's gonna look. So it'd be really helpful if we had some input on like what you would want the fairgrounds overall, how you want it to operate.
If there's one or two board members that would like to work that over and be part of a committee to do that, then let me know and we can put something together and you guys can be able to work with other concerned entities. So it's not just me doing something or not just me doing something. Because there's people from the racetrack, horse association, there's various groups that come in and rent the campgrounds and they use the property for various things. They all have an interest in what's going on there. If we just say we're just gonna let it go, then that's not fair to the public or the money we've already spent in. So we got to consider how we're gonna address that as a township for the public. Any questions about that?
No, but what if the fair board decides they're not happy with that increase, they're not gonna have the fair there with their stuff, and then what do? We got all this grandstands for.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're true. But are we gonna call under it and take nothing?
I get that too, but.
So I think that.
Or do we have a new grandstands and a racetrack that's only good for 2 years, and then how are we gonna have money to put in a new racetrack? Or what are we going to do to have't at the fairgrounds? Who's gonna be in charge of marketing and developing all of that so that we didn't just put up brand new grandstands for nothing?
My thoughts on this are over the past years, it's always been let the fairgrounds basically do, fair board do basically what they want. And the board just says, yep, go ahead. And that's where we're at right now. So they use 303 of our sites. We get paid for 50 of them, we only get 50% of that now. So we don't make any money out of that. They barely pay for the insurance that they have to pay for. They pay for the power that they use. They pay us a little bit to help cover some of the costs of getting the water and stuff set up for them. But in reality, we're still putting 40, 50, 60 grand into the fair board budget or the fairground budget. And I don't think that their little $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 they're providing is nowhere near enough.
Especially what was their net after the fair? They walked away with $80,000.
Exactly.
And we got 3,000.
And I was only asking for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even asking for a big, and they're taking that. That's, again, it's board decisions. So you wait and talk to them next week and get a feel for what they're gonna do and let them know how you feel. I tried to express what I felt the board thought about this process. But hearing it from you might be better than hearing it from me. I'll leave it at that. All right, new business. This is too far up. Need to remove Kathy Knoll from the Sioux Co-op bank accounts and then add Don McDonald to all the accounts. Motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Next up, let's talk about raise for the deputy treasurer. This would be a COLA raise. It was not specified at the last board meeting. It was talk about regular staff. In the past few years, the board has provided a COLA raise to the deputy treasurer.
That's supposed to be deputy treasurer, clerk, and supervisor, not just treasurer.
I will scratch the supervisor, deputy supervisor, not eligible for a raise. And then she turned it down. There's some legal stuff that's involved in that.
Just for the supervisor?
Yep. Oh. So the deputy treasurer and the clerk. Can we make that motion then?
I'll make it. Motion
What is the motion?
to approve the COLA raise for the clerk and treasurer deputy.
Any discussion?
That is in our budget, right?
Yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Motion carried. Next up is Kinross Charter Township zoning ordinance fee schedule. I'll make a motion that we approve the fee schedule as presented. Rate will be effective April 1st.
I'll support.
Any discussion? What was the rough percentage?
It was, the cost of, inflation, and then rounded to yourself.
Any other discussion? None, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we're good up. Okay, next up is to hire Jacob Zurich for the golf course maintenance. Greens Lake.
And it would be for effective immediately. Then I'll move that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Motion carried. Next is rehire our seasonal crew. Motion to rehire Paul Press, Heidi Lewis, and Dave Camper to the property management seasonal crew effective May 4th. Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Carried. Next is a motion to post a seasonal employment opportunity for property management for one position. So we're going for 4.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Some discussion. And this person will start at $14 an hour for that.
You're just putting that out there for somebody you don't already have.
We have one application, I'm gonna give opportunity for others, but that's something we can take a look at. There's other people are interested in the job, so we can interview a few people. All right. We do have at least one interest already. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Motion's carried. Next up is a motion to purchase picnic tables. The total is 30 picnic tables, seems like a lot. 10 of them will go to RV West, 10 to RV East, 2 will go to the rec center, and then the other 6 will be, will fall into the, that'll come to each of those budgets. The other 8 will come under the property management budget, and then we're going to loan them to the golf course. So, maybe if the golf course has extra money after their construction project, they will reimburse us. So the, original numbers, Amazon wanted, $10,966.50. And then we asked, a company called Outdoorsiness. And the first bid we got was $8,600 and $610. And then we'd actually asked them for a quote, and they came back at $6,512.50. So.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. So, I'll make the motion, I will make a motion to purchase 30 picnic tables, frames from Outdoorsiness at a price not to exceed $9,000. That's only because that's what I got the motion as, but the price will be $6,512.50. And these are not fully, they don't have all the wood. I still have to purchase the wood for each of those. It'll be roughly $50 to $70 per table for the wood. But these are just the frames. So that's my motion.
I'll second.
Now discuss.
So these, you want to spend $9,000 for just the frames?
Well, by the time I'm done, it'll be $9,000 for the whole thing, because it's gonna cost about $3,000 roughly. I've got a full quote on them, because I want to get a table before I don't get the quote. So I'll get that once the meeting's done, so. This is actually cheaper than we paid for the last set. We bought 20 a couple years ago.
We bought it from the same.
And it's from the same company. We got them a lot cheaper this time. They're way cheaper than we got last time.
There isn't any kind of composite that would be cheaper.
No, composites are way more.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I looked at the kind you see at some of the parks now, they got the expanded screen tops and stuff like that. Yeah, I can get 2 or 3 of them for that price.
What about like the Amish in town? Building that.
It comes out to be all the wooden ones, and then we have some issues with the wooden ones being that they just don't last as long. These will last a lot longer. And I'm not sure what their cost would be. I'm having Mike rebuild, so we're just paying for materials.
Right, okay.
And these are gonna be used where?
RV West, RV East, a couple at the rec center, and then the golf course. We'll be getting the other 8 to use.
And what do we have there
At the RV West, I might have 15. RV East, I might have 20. And then the golf course.
I think there might be 2 there, or 2.
The rec center only got 2. They would like 2 more. So
And we
that's why
can-
I did 2 then.
We only really want them at the golf course for events when we have the food trailer there. I mean, 6 would be plenty, I would think, because I'd like them to come inside too.
Just that when they asked last year, we sent a bunch over and then we pulled them back. I thought, well, I might as well send them over and let them deal with them, and then you've got them.
Or that.
They can put them in and out, so it's up to them. I'm trying to replace all our wooden tables that were starting to rot, fall apart, and they were actually that hazardous. So we've been slowly adding tables, every other year. So this was a year that I thought it would be good to start adding a few more. We had a lot of people asking for tables last year. And the fair comes around, we'll probably swipe a few back from RV East, and we can bring over the fair and switch back around. They're always looking for them too. Just know when I go camping, I let them have a table. That's a RV West, well, RV East, they have 64 sites, so that would be the most I would have over there. And then RV East I would only put in the main site, and then we probably have a few extras to put on the other spots that we have over the main site where both people camp. So and there's 50 sites there. So it'll be still got a couple years before we have enough of one there. If we're going to be charging good for campground, I want to make sure they have something to use. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. All right, next is the purchase of a stump grinder. We should have 3 quotes here. I'd like to purchase a Reese stump grinder from Gaylor Thompson at the price not to exceed $6,500, which is the price they quoted me. I had a quote from Kinross Sales at $7,390. And then from the Skinners, I had $6,695. That's why I'm gonna go with Gaylord Thompson. This is a piece of equipment that we can definitely use, between some of the work we have to do down here, behind us in the field behind us, over at the campgrounds, fairground, as well as the golf course. And the golf course was the original one to get it, but I think we both go this way. I'm just helping them save a little bit of money on their budget, put in the property management budget, and just loan it out as they need. They'll probably do most of the work with it. By the time
The last
we get back
two
to it.
trees.
And we got a bunch of them I gotta work on. So just get rid of the stumps, fairground especially, because it actually takes up some property we can use. The trailers can use, can't get around some of those stumps. That was a request for purchase. So my motion to purchase that lease stump grinder from Gaylord Thompson not to exceed $6,500.
I support.
Second.
Yeah. Any discussion?
Do we have one before?
We have not. We have a hand one. This is one that goes on the back of the tractor. The hand one takes quite a long time to work out. It doesn't work for the really tall stumps.
That sounds like punishment.
Well, it has been. I was the one punished. Okay, any discussion?
What did we do before? Just use the hand one? You didn't rent one from somewhere, or no, you just handed it?
It handed them.
Well,
they
or
did it
you
all.
see a lot of stumps that are just cut down to the ground or
Well, it was
close
an
to
issue
the ground.
during budget, remember?
Yeah.
It was an issue to spend 6,500 when Mark wasn't there,
Yeah,
so.
that was, never mind, sorry. I tried to get there.
It was because
You
you
guys are
guys
saying,
were
right?
I know.
But
I
there was
wasn't
an
going
issue
anywhere.
then is what I was saying,
Right.
so.
And that's the biggest thing on my house, we don't get to figure that out. It's, will help us get through some things we need to get through a whole lot faster. There's still stumps over at the RV park we took to the ground, they've been away. So they still don't do anything, mowers can't get over them, so it's best to grind them all down and sell that for 30 and get the grass. Any other discussion? Any question?
No, I was just saying it'd be good at the fair, I'm taking out some of those.
Yes.
Deep trip on.
There's a lot out there to
That's
deal with. So, no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, pose same sign. Motion's carried. This is the last one that I have. This is make a motion to purchase an X-Mark mower from Gaylord Thompson at the price not to exceed $14,600. I got quotes, put the motion to be the second we discuss. No seconds.
I'll support.
I got 3 quotes as well. One from Gaylord Thompson, which is what I recommend purchase. And this quote was $14,599, and that would include shipping stuff. They got it pretty much, so they didn't have it in the shop. I thought I was going to get a deal, but he didn't have the old model. He had, they were both the same machine, just different model numbers. I didn't know why. I was hoping to save money. I couldn't do that. Skinner's had a similar one, the Kubota. This is the X-Mark that I'm getting from Gaylord Thompson. Skinner's had a Kubota, and they went with a similar size machine, $16,950. And then Get Up Sales, which is on the other stack I had. Theirs was also the same as Skinner's, was $18,300 plus road tax. So I know that's not the X-Mark from the other ones, but finding another X-Mark dealer that's not way out of the way was a little tough. But if they're having both an X-Mark and Kubota working side by side, the X-Mark beats the Kubota hands down in its maintenance cost and its wear and tear. I think you get a better deal going with this one.
And this is for.
That's a zero-turn lawnmower for property management. Just to, so we have another one, because we've had some issues last year, a couple of them have to be down, I still want to keep people mowing. Plus, if I have somebody that's not doing something, I can say, we're gonna go mow something. And send them out, so we have 3 mowers up.
Plus it will help with people who plan about.
Exactly.
Long enough to be kept up on.
So that's one of the things, so I have that extra mower as well. I'll probably able to direct it more than anything. And on the other side. The Kubota, I'm sure it's one of the ones we've had the most maintenance on the last 2 years. So I hate to have it just on one sheet, and that don't get good productivity done.
How many mowers do we have?
That'll give us 3. And then from that point forward, it'll be a couple more years before I bring another one in unless the machine dies, and then we'll go with that. I think once every couple of years. The other option we have, I guess, I'll give you, that's your question. We have another option. Later.
I was gonna say, when did we get our last mower?
3 years.
It was 3 years ago. Didn't seem like it was that long.
I know it doesn't, it was 3. So another option that was presented to me, and I forgot about it until after I already gone through this process, was that Gaylord Thompson would work on a lease program with us. We could change them out. So we can look at that the next time around. If we need to buy another mower, then we're always up with fresh mowers. So but right now it's we're not at that point unless you want me to talk about it.
Some goats.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. All right, yes, hire Ashley Bertram as lab operator. Somewhere she has provided a letter of interest in the sewer department would like to hire her to be a lab operator. When would you start in there? Tomorrow? So you get her training, is that the deal's get her training then?
Yeah, before we retired.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is the S4 the only license she needs or not?
She needs a D in sewage also. She was able to at least get the S4 ahead of time. So it's not 2 required licenses.
Did anybody else apply?
Is that the one that we just posted in-house though? How long does it take to get the other license?
You're gonna have about a year's worth of experience pretty much in the plant. Then they'll allow you to write the test. So that's why we always set up the 2 attempts. They only offer the licensing and, the test twice a year, most every 6 months. So we always sort of estimated around a 2-year point. Hopefully someone will be able to have their 2 attempts if they need them.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Next up is a rezoning request from the EDC. They own a piece of property, probably where their current building is, but that acreage was all the way back to Fair Road. For whatever reason, the property was split zoned. And they requested that the part that wasn't zoned for industrial was zoned residential. Was it industrial residential or half and half?
This goes back to our zoning maps that don't align with our zoning ordinances.
So they requested a rezoning on that. So
We didn't even have a category for the zoning and stuff.
So this is what we need to use for us to approve. You guys will approve this, right?
Yes.
So we just, the board needs to approve it.
Yes.
That's this point forward. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the zoning change request. You gonna have any discussion? Need any explanations from Arthur? What's going on?
Would the zoning change allow them to build a building essentially like what they had on Fair Road?
They want to build a building out there, but they want to have access to the whole property. We did request that they put that there be a 65-foot buffer with Fair Road, so that there's no ingress or egress on Fair
On
Road.
Fair Road.
And so that was part of the motion, or part of the
Request.
part of what we passed, our agreement. We would zone it 65 foot areas.
So Any other discussion? No questions?
What is this building?
That's unknown at this time, that's, all we can do is zone, we can't ask for specifics at this point because they're still in negotiations with, potential buyers, so that's the information. we have.
And when I've talked to Chris, he has not told me what specifically, he just said, yeah, if you're interested, and that there's a possibility of 2 different entities coming in on that property. Basically, they want to take advantage of the railroad track. That's the biggest issue.
This is
That's
like,
right.
Yeah, it's up the corner.
So
Ready, but
behind the building, there's a railroad spur, and a little bit past that is the line of the zone change. So
why would we give it back on the fair?
the site was.
Because that's recreational, or recreation residential. in that
Well,
area.
we've met all the requirements, notifications, and everything that they're
Which they
supposed to do.
indicated it would.
That's all gone out. And the meeting last time, a couple weeks ago. And
Yeah,
it's that opportunity to come,
it has to be able to.
that opportunity.
This doesn't affect any other houses.
There was any concerns at that point in time.
He's saying the same thing that you're saying.
What's that?
There was 2 conversations going on here,
Sorry.
they're both like the same thing almost. Well, will it affect any housing?
This question was about affecting housing.
Yeah, and we, for the zoning, because it was a public meeting, we invited adjacent property owners. Showed up. So concerns about drainage.
Is light industrial?
Yes, light industrial. So the only information beyond that I have is they are looking at, I want to say it's either 30,000 or 80,000. I know it's a big variance, square foot building. So that's all the information I have.
How many square feet is that building they just put in back there?
I do not have that information.
40,000 square feet?
40,000?
40,000. Sure.
Only reason I know that is because the 100,000 square foot building we put up on Hessel, they said it was 40 when we were asking the size. We get 40, not 40.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Any business? Open up for public comment.
I have a question on that, the property use change. There's a road right away to the north. Is that gonna have any application where West Bear Road runs to the railroad track?
The railroad has covered it, so it's gonna cross that easement. I'll there's an easement there now, they went over it, so.
Well, I know from the corner to the east is a road right away that will be on the north side of this property now. So
From the, where the, in the corner of that Fair Road corner you're talking about there?
The trail, yeah, the trail. So
That's still access, I'm assuming we want the road, the buffer to be so it wouldn't be away from the people and they wouldn't see all the traffic. But, as far as I know, that piece of property they didn't ask anything about that road. I'm assuming they're coming in back from this side.
just wanted to put that angle on it.
Yep. Any other public comment? Hearing none, board members, Caleb,
No, that's what it is.
Sierra, Loretta,
Spring cleanup is May 2nd, and then, the passes are available next week, and then the following week after the spring cleanup. And then I just wanted to make a comment on how many residents we've had concerned about data centers being in our area. We've had a ton this week, or last week, so I don't know if we could get some information for the newsletter or something on that.
we've had a discussion and there's only, it has some limitations for data centers. I think they were like industrial, where they would end up if they get in that kind of spot. That's away from the residents per se. But I have not been approached with any property available. Don't be stopping me for any property available.
I just know
Until
the,
that zoning
the
change.
residents are a little concerned.
I think for that, there's also small nuclear reactors. Like that, or some other options.
And then the special election is on May 5th.
What is it?
ISD. Sarah? Bob?
Spring cleanup. Can't wait. But, I did have a neighbor ask me, what, if we could change that to the fall. Probably not.
It's already in the books.
Right. Right. But, I still
I know everybody was worried about the snow and not being able to get the yards clean, but most of the yards are clean, that's fine. So, I'm not about stuff going out there that I'm worried about. I will note, I think Loretta, she mentioned to me last week that they will be looking into her. Somebody else maybe said, we're gonna be looking into the different options that GFL does for cleanups like that.
Yeah,
See
we
if we
worked
can do
with them
something.
in there. She's gonna get me some information because not all of the other ones around us townships that do that. Or some townships, but, there's like consists of like 3 bulk items and a few smaller bags of junk. So that's also an option to kind of sum it down so it's not as much.
So we'll be looking at some options for the coming years.
And I also have, I just want to say something about that, it's sad. Passing on, I do hope that we can do something for him. He's been a great asset to this community for years.
Yep.
Everything's great.
We'll definitely be working on it. Those are people who are interested in helping out in that direction. I'm gonna put her at the spot. Christine's gonna be working in that direction. So. Yeah, I already pointed you out, put her at the spot. She can handle it. I trust her.
Yeah.
All right. That's all for the board. Adjourned.
What's that?